You are now dialed into the big voice, KWTN 100.9 FM.
The official radio station of the Winnebago Tribe.
Oh yeah, you are listening to 100.9 FM. This is KWTN, the Big Voice Radio. You are listening to another episode of the Big Voice Sports Talk Show. I'm your host, Coach Q. And right here,
B-Luv is in the house. What's up, everybody?
B-Luv is in the house, Hey, B-Luv, man. It seems like it's been a while, right?
Yeah.
It seems like it's been a while in the studio anyway.
Yeah.
You know, a couple weeks ago we got to cover Nebraska State Tournament. We'll get into a little bit about that a little bit later on.
Okay.
You know, but yeah, it kind of seems like a little bit, you know, and
Yep.
Basketball season's coming to an end, or it came to an end, and you know we got new sports coming up, you know, and just a lot to talk about, you know, and you know how we do, you know, we get some topics, man, we can just keep on going.
Yeah,
you know?
that's right, especially basketball.
Yeah. Hey, so ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you for tuning in for another episode of the Big Voice Sports Talk Show. And you know what, B-Luv? What I was thinking is that we can cut that short a little bit because it kind of sounds real long, and we might start just calling this the show.
That's right.
The show, okay? And then we might even switch this music up a little bit too. You already know.
I have an idea.
All right. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in to 100.9 FM. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a couple special guests in the studio today. We have one of the coaches. He was on a recent episode just recently talking about the Warpath basketball program. Coach Chris LaPointe. Say what's up.
What's up, everybody?
And then we also got in the house, and I think he's been on Tuesday's talk show with DJ Besme a couple times recently. Him and some football players from Sioux City. They're doing an event, and he's going to talk about that a little bit in the show here. But we have Mr. Caden Cleveland with us. Say what's up, Caden.
How's it going, everyone?
So I say thank you, boys, for showing up. You know, come check it out up here at the radio station, hanging out with me and B-Luv. You know, every other week we kind of get into a lot of sports and stuff. And I know Coach Chris been up here a couple times, you know, in the past couple years, talk about basketball and other things going on in his sporting world. And Beetle, I don't think you came on the sports show yet, have you?
No, it's my first time.
This is the first time. All right, we're getting him, guys. So yeah, well, welcome to the sports show. You know, we just try to just be laid back and just discuss sports, you know. And so make sure if you have a comment or something, just hop right in.
Yep.
You know, so but I am going to give you time here a little bit to kind of go over your the event that you guys got coming up this weekend, okay?
Yep.
And then you listeners out there, just make sure and listen up, and we got some opportunities later on in the show to actually win some prizes. So So just go ahead and
Stay tuned in.
Stay tuned. So, you know, usually, you know, every time that we do the sports show, we like to start off with each one of us is, you know, personal early shout outs, you know, like just, you know, something that you might want to shout out somebody or maybe a team or individual, you know, out there in the sporting world that's been doing some good stuff that you want to recognize. So I'm going to start right over here. B-Luv, you have any early shout outs?
I do. Since it was a couple of weeks since the state tournament was down there, I'm going to give, you know me, I'm biased. I give my grandkids a bunch of shout outs all the time. But my grandson, KJ Blackhawk, he made a first team all-state, the tournament team in Class D1. Or D1? Yeah, D1. And his Bancroft Rosalie Panthers. I want to give a shout out, say congratulations, grandson. Joker, proud of you.
Yeah, good one, man. Good one. All right, Coach Chris. I know I've seen you in many gyms in the last 2 weeks, so I know you got to at least have a couple shout outs.
I mean, I could give
Let's go.
a ton of shout outs, but I mean, I think if I want to give the shout out, just singling someone out, I'm gonna have to go with just my parents of all my teams. I'm just thankful for the opportunity and just thankful that the parents trust me with their kids. So just shout out to all my parents and just shout out to everybody that believes in me, and then with the Warpath stuff and with what we're doing with high school. I mean, shout out to all of you parents.
Yeah, that's a good shout out. Good shout out, man. Yeah, it can't do any of it without the parents, man. It's a good shout out. All right, Caden.
I'll give a shout out to all the teams that are going down to Denver this weekend, and all the Winnebago tribal member kids, and also our sistering tribe, Omaha tribe. I know it's a big weekend down there. It's always a good weekend to go out and play some basketball, so give them a good shout out.
Yeah, good one. All right, so I'll give a shout out to Winnebago's high school freshman and sophomore team. We took a team down to MIT. And I got to give a shout out to the high school Warpath team that were victorious. They took first place down there in the upper division, the high school division. So I was real proud of them. First game was a real tough one. You guys were both there. We won on a buzzer beater. Buzzer beater 3. We won by 1 in overtime. So those games. Some of those games can be easy down there, and some of those games you really got to work for. And I'm just proud that those young men come through, and they hardly needed any coaching. They kind of knew what they were doing already. They just need somebody to kind of like holler at them a little bit, make them, act right a little bit.
And I didn't even see you doing that. Like, they were just playing ball.
That's how good they were playing. I didn't really need to do anything,
Yeah, that was
and
good.
then the other team was a real cocky team, and the boys start trying to get in, try to match up, talking, and I had to call timeout. So let's not get into that. Let's just play ball. And we end up
let your game do your talking.
We let it burn. So.
Hey, well, since you give that too, that shout out, the 8th grade girls, they won the MIT down there as well last weekend or the other weekend.
Oh, nice. 8th grade girls.
So another grandbaby, Cassidy Bass.
No.
She had one of her friends from Bancroft playing with her, come up and play with the Winnebago girls to help them out, and they did really good. The coach, Blackfish, him and his old
Durant.
lady. Coach Durant, and I can't forget his old lady.
Jocelyn.
Yeah. No, I can't remember the girls' names. But they did a good job down there keeping them girls corralled, and then letting them take off and play ball, and so that was a good job. Good job.
Good shout outs, man. Good shout outs. Any more, guys? Any more shout outs? Got a whole hour here. All right. No, I do got to give a shout out to a few people too. Just I'm gonna follow along with what you guys said about the parents. Like we've been fundraising for the last 2 months to make this trip down to Denver a success, and fundraising, as you guys all know, it's not an easy task, especially if you try to set your goal, a certain amount up here, and you got to try to not only raise that money, but at the same time you got to try to teach these young guys that look at what it all takes to raise money, to do fundraisers. It's not easy. Most of the time they get to go to school and just chill, and the parents do all the stuff behind the scenes, But we do pull the kids in to help with those fundraisers so they can see, rolling breakfast burritos, at 6 o'clock in the morning and stuff like that. Trying to get everything situated, those kinds of things. And
One of your one of the fundraisers that Coach Chris was doing here, he was doing a couple of breakfast ones, and I got a couple of them. The first time I got one, I got it delivered at work, and here I seen one of my other coworkers in the room that
Chris is laughing.
Loaded down, looking good with bacon and sausage and biscuits and gravy and spud, or just everything.
A real pineapple. And
I get mine and have little bitty circle sausage and no bacon. Someone took a bite out of my biscuits and gravy. I said, what the heck's going on here? So when I went out there and got my next one, I went out there and I was Made my
Went out
own.
there, yeah. Made my own plate.
Made my own plate. then I didn't even pay him $1 extra too.
That's messed up.
Tipped us.
You better get that. You better get that somehow.
Yeah, he just laughed because he's like, well, I didn't make that one. blamed it on his woman.
If I made it for you, then I would have.
Yeah.
I'm holding to that one.
And it's always good too, and I know you guys are those kind of guys too. Is when people have fundraisers around town, if it's for the youth. Like sometimes I'm not even hungry. I just maybe somebody at my office, I'll buy them a burrito or a sandwich or something like that. If one of the kids is selling stuff,
I don't know about all that. Giving it to someone else.
Yeah, no. All I'm saying is that to help those kids out, you go out and spend that money, and,
sure.
and you might as well take a sandwich since you're giving them some money,
Yeah.
And then at work, I just give. So people do that for me too.
I'll do that.
Yeah, but anytime these kids have fundraisers, I try to at least throw them a little bit, or at least buy one sandwich or something like that to help the cause out. Because I know they're all meaning well. They're trying to get to places. Maybe they're not trying to go to Denver. Maybe they're trying to go to wrestling meet or a volleyball camp or something like that. But it's just what we got to do.
That's right.
As a community, and especially, and I know that Coach Chris, with your fundraising efforts too, on these tournaments, that you're real thankful for this community of Winnebago to kind of always have each other's back here. It doesn't matter what team it is, whether it's Warpath, New Breed, TB Customs, any of these other teams. They all have fundraisers, because they want these kids to go do certain things. Dude, they sell out all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
They sell out all the time because our community takes care of each other, man.
Yeah.
And I love that, man. So shout out to our entire community on that.
For sure.
All right, man. Let's get into it, guys. Let's get into it. So I got some topics that I want to talk about tonight, and we could take this whole hour to do it. So our topics tonight are going to be the Nebraska State basketball tournament. We'll talk about that since you brought it up a little while ago, and we'll get all your guys' opinions about the tournament. Then we're going to talk a little bit about All West down in Denver, which we're all getting ready to go to. We're going to talk about March Madness, because I know you guys all got brackets in, right? You guys all got your own opinions about your brackets. I think I burned mine last night.
I think I burned it for you.
And then we're going to talk a little bit about high school golf and track. The golf and track season just started, I believe, if not this past Monday, the Monday before.
Yeah.
And so they've been at it. They've been practicing out there. It's been nice out for the most part. We had a couple cold, ugly days last week, but they've been practicing. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, what the team looks like. And then last but not least, we're going to bring up a little bit about Carlos Trinidad Snake. He's got that big fight coming up next Friday in Dubai. And I saw,
I believe he's out there.
Yeah, on Facebook, on his stories, he's out there. He's checking it out, man.
Yeah.
He's training hard, but he's also taking in the sights.
Well, when he was up here with us last time, he said that he was his first week he was going to be just taking it all in and stuff. Of course, dieting and doing what he's doing, workout and stuff like that. But then I think the last week before that, he was going to have at it and really get back into it. I mean, like really go hard so he'd be ready for the fight. So I'm ready for that.
Yeah, and I don't.
Did we find a time limit then? Or a time?
I heard it's supposed to be at around 11 o'clock in the morning.
So I know it's 10 hours. He said it was a 10-hour difference.
10-hour difference,
So and if it's fighting that night, is it Saturday morning or is it Sunday morning?
or Friday morning. So
Yeah,
it'll be
so
Friday
we
night.
don't know.
Right.
It's a good question.
We'll definitely be following up on that, because I don't know yet. One of us is probably gonna have to message him and try to find that. He probably knows that stuff.
Yeah, he does. Well, hopefully he
Or
does.
Big Voice want to send one of us over there.
There you go.
I'll go find out real fast. No, but we are gonna probably discuss sometime with DJ Besame and DJ Guaranteed about what kind of thing we're gonna do downtown, because I know
Sure.
that the last fight they showed it downtown. A lot of people showed up.
Nice.
This time it's on a Friday. More than likely it's gonna be nice out. And it'll be right around noon. There could be some morning festivities, maybe some kind of a brunch that the tribe can put together. Ideas.
Let me
Landslide. Let Landslide know about that one.
Landslide, get up here
Landslide
if you're
Decor, we
listening.
need you. But we'll figure some out on that day. So
right.
community, if you're listening out there and you guys are wondering about Carlos's fight, we're gonna talk about it later on, but we'll definitely get into it.
Cool.
All right. So state basketball tournament. We went down there. The Big Voice Radio and the sports show showed up down there last Wednesday to do an episode of the sports show,
Yep.
and then went right into the game, the first round game, which was an amazing game.
Yeah.
And those of you that stuck with it, stuck with the show, and then listened to us on the radio, you guys were excited as well. Was us?
Yeah, I know that I got a lot of texts and snaps from some of my friends that said that asked why we wasn't, they couldn't watch it on video, watch the game on video, but I think it was all the copyrights and stuff like that from the NSAA or stuff like that. They banned that, so it was just all audio. So, but yeah, you guys made your way down to the game, didn't you?
Yeah. I was definitely there, and I think overall, like my biggest takeaway was I was just impressed with, just the whole class of the D2 or
D1.
D1.
Yep.
D1 teams. I mean, they're all impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, we was there to cheer on BR, but the teams that they competed against, they're overall, those teams didn't look like, D1 teams.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
as
agree.
far as classification is, concerned, but those teams were all impressive, and we were there, rooting for BR and hoping for the best, and they just happened to run up against teams that they didn't look like D1 teams. I mean, they could have been C teams or B teams or whatever, but I was just impressed with just the overall, just the competition. I mean, shout out to those schools, and I know, was it Brock Johnson that ended up winning it, but I mean, even watching,
Brock.
yeah, even watching them, I mean, that was impressive too. Like they didn't seem like they were just a D1 school. They were actually pretty competitive, and
Yeah.
pretty impressive. So
The
kudos to
game
them.
the game we watched, that was before Bancroft played, and we watched them. They played they played that first round, and the score at halftime was like 18-16. So it was like, what are they doing? And then honestly, I wasn't real impressed with either one of those teams for the first round, but the next two games, then they stepped up. So
Yeah.
I was thinking to myself, watching Bancroft play, I was like, man, whoever gets to this game, the second game, whoever gets that second game, probably going to win the whole thing. Because I said I wasn't impressed with those other teams, but they end up pulling it off anyway. So that was good. It was all in all, I enjoyed it. I watched all three of the games that Bancroft played. Good experience for the boys,
For sure, yeah,
For sure.
Sure was. And KJ Black, I guess probably said when I stepped out, but he had an amazing game. Just and it wasn't just the shooting, because he shot great, but it wasn't just the shooting. It was decision making, ball protection, and then he kind of even being that leader when people weren't in the right spots. He would kind of like be the general out there, kind of pushing around, even though his primary position isn't the point guard.
Yeah.
He did good down there.
Yeah.
Yep.
We actually made a new grandson too off the other team, remember? Because remember,
Oh, yeah.
the
Number one.
number one on the other team. I sat and did lunch with his folks. She sat right next to us, and we were talking about each other's teams and the games and stuff. And so they asked who my grandson was. I asked who the son was, so we exchanged the jersey numbers, and sure as heck, they matched up most of the game.
The
And
nephew was the star of that team too.
yeah, he got 17 or 18 that game. Yeah.
He was the one hitting those shots.
Yeah.
When we were saying that, they're not hitting shots from the outside, then he would start.
Yeah, right. We shouldn't even have said that.
But yeah, our new nephew too. So I think his last name was like Standing Eagle or something like that.
I wish I had his name. I wish I still kept one of them.
Yeah.
They call rosters.
I'm gonna give some props to DJ Besame and the production crew, 'cause that's 3 years in a row that we've gone down to Lincoln to cover a native team down there, all native production crew, all native commentators, and we're just every year we're making a little bit more history for our radio station
and we're
here
kind of getting to
in
know it
Nebraska.
better.
Yeah.
And we're kind of getting to know it better too from the first year. So
Yeah.
it is a big help having Coach Huge down there. I mean, Huge he's like Terry Medina. He likes the sound of his own voice. So we had to, every time he's taking a breath, Quince had to sneak something in while we were
Every time you usually be going like that. It's kind of like, yeah, he got a rebound.
But he's pretty good at it though. I just sat back.
Good
and-
play-by-play.
Yeah, he was on it. I mean, we tried to do it up there that first time, but we still working on sharpening some of the skills on it. But yeah, seemed like he'd done it. I mean, he did it all year, right, for at the school and everything. Yeah, he was pretty good at it.
Go choose.
He could have brought us a pop or a hot dog or something.
Or at least some gas money. Something like that. Yeah.
Then he didn't even have his press thing on here to get in free, so he probably pulled his travel council card out and said,
Had a beaded medallion with his enrollment card on there.
"Hey, yo, yeah, get up here, use one of these times, and defend yourself a little bit."
But fun times down there. It's always,
Yeah,
it's always
always.
amazing. You know, as we were calling that first game on that Wednesday night, just the view we had.
Yeah.
You know, you see, just looking out into the auditorium and seeing all the fans and where we had it, we was just kind of being,
Yeah.
kind of taking it all in. Like, you know, like, dude, like we're working here now. You know,
Yeah.
this is what we're doing now.
Yeah.
You know, all the boys are getting to play ball, and we could be right here.
Then we could have been down courtside, but we chose to stay up there
Yeah, it was-
because we were already all hooked up, and it was like a lot of carrying stuff down. It was like, let's just stay up here. There was a lot of steps. I seen Garen coming up, breathing hard and sweating. His 5th trip up the steps. So I was like, oh man, I'm glad he's running around.
Looks like he just got off the dance floor down at Horseshoe.
Aztec.
Yeah, but hey, but like I said, fun times.
Yeah.
I saw all you guys down in Lincoln. You know, it seems like when the native team wins districts and gets down to state, dude, all the natives come out from Nebraska to come watch.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
every time we was down there watching all the teams, and
Yeah.
when Winnebago made it, and then they were all down watching our team. So
Yep, Santee boys, they made their way down. A lot of the relatives from Santee.
Yeah.
You know, then when they made it down a few years ago, then the whole Omaha tribe, Winnebago tribe down there showing support. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
yeah, we just got to keep on going back.
Yeah.
Winnebago's turn this time.
That's right.
Yes, it is. All right. Hey, well, that's it about the state tournament. And, you know, one thing is Ashland Greenwood won the state championship.
Did they then?
Yes.
In C1?
Yep. And Winnebago almost had him.
Yeah.
If we had 2.5 minutes left, 2.5 minutes more in the game,
Yeah.
I think we could have got him.
Got beat by 5 or 4 or something.
I think it was like 5 or 6, yeah. But it shows where we're at.
Yeah.
It shows where we're at. And if Ashland Greenwood is getting that kind of respect, you know, and getting down to Lincoln and, you know, finishing off and stuff like that, and Winnebago's almost there, that's that hump.
So did they win 3 out of the last 4 years?
I think they won.
There are 3.
Yeah, 3 out of the last 4 years.
So who-
1,
they didn't
2,
win
and then
last
missed one, then this year.
But they played in the championship last year,
Yeah.
though, right? So they've been in the championship 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
And then
And programs don't last all the time.
no,
like that.
yeah,
Let's
we're
go.
not.
It's
We're
time for
prime.
them to get out.
Yeah, we're prime example of that. We come in powerhouse for 4 years, and then we're kind of then mediocre, but we got a good core coming up. The junior high and then the youngsters that we got on the team now. Yeah, we're right there, ready to go. If Tiny Baby's knee wasn't jacked up, I bet you they might have got him because they had some big guys down there on that Ashland team that
Yeah.
nobody else could really do too much with.
Yeah.
But Trisha's boy,
Fair.
he played really good. He's really stepped his
Yeah,
game up.
from the beginning to the end of the season,
Yeah.
just total
Yeah.
confidence change.
Well, you know what I've seen is he got more playing time. So I don't know what changed, if he's working extra practice or some of the regulars are hurt or sloughing or something like that. So he got more PT, and then he because as well as I do, you can't get in the game and just expect to be good right up the way. You got to get the feel for it and stuff
Yeah,
like
you
that.
get in a groove. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you guys. I mean, I come in and do that stuff, but
B-Luv.
B-Luv can't relate.
Buff just
I
stand
mean-
out on the court and get tired.
stand on the court and put 46 up on anybody.
Fresh off the sofa.
Fresh off the sofa.
That's back then. Come on, boys. You guys know.
All right, fellas, we're gonna get into Denver All West. First thing, good shout out earlier, Beetle, about for all the teams that are going down. There's a number of teams going down.
Yep.
I'm taking one. Chris is taking one. We got I think 1 or 2 Bagel girls teams going down. We got some other Bagel boys going down. I think Les and Amy are taking the boys down with another squad. So there's gonna be like 3 Bagel teams. Oman Nation and Walt Hill got like 3 teams down there.
Jeez.
Combined. Santee's taking a team, and then each one of the tribes got some individual players playing on some different teams too out there. So it's gonna be a fun weekend of basketball out here. It's gonna be a fun weekend, and but we're heading out probably tomorrow morning about 8 o'clock, and we're trying to get down to the coaches meeting. It starts at 5:30 down at the field house down there, and yeah, it's just it's kind of routine now. Every year, kind of we do the same thing, and the competition changes every year.
Yeah.
And sometimes it gets better, sometimes it stays the same, but it hardly ever gets worse. You know, it's just like these kids nowadays, just athletes. You know.
Well, last time I was down, it was 2015 when Winnebago got second. I
Got
believe.
second place down here.
Yeah. So I'll see how much change now, because 10 years ago, you know.
Yeah.
Then you guys leaving at 8, you said, trying to get out here at 8?
Yeah.
I'm taking off at noon, so I'll probably catch you guys.
What time you guys heading out, Coach Chris?
Probably about 8:30. I think that's kind of like our target time. We were able to find a van for some of our guys who didn't have a ride out, so we're thankful for that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of, you know, some last minute stuff that kind of came up, and we're able to provide a ride. But I think more or less just anything we can do for these boys to just have the opportunity to travel and to play and to get outside of Winnebago, I think that's just, you know, that's just beneficial to them. And you know, me just being the person that I am, you know, anything I can do to help these boys, you know, just, you know, create opportunities and just be able to just have some fun and play the game, you know, I'm all for it. So
Yeah, you guys got a pretty solid team going down there too. We B-Luv, we had a little scrimmage game last night, and it was our team against Chris's team. Teams going down.
Yeah.
And did pretty good. There's
yeah.
kind of
Everybody show up for both teams?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
How come I hear nothing about that?
Oh,
Like too much.
we just like to run under the radar a little bit
okay.
sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes we gotta do things a little discreet.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have had a fundraiser though, and maybe had some concessions and charged a couple dollars to get in. but-
Because
I mean, we didn't think about it, but
It wasn't actually a good game too.
I
It
was
was a good game too.
I was
It
actually
was.
leading up to that. And I was
Yeah.
like, man, if you would have put it out there, then we could have charged a couple dollars to get in.
And to follow up with that, I mean, it was a competitive game. I mean, for the most part, I mean, the guys that we had and the guys that play for Warpath, I mean, they both brought it. I mean, you know, that just is a test to the type of players that we have here just in our own backyard.
Yeah.
Like, there's just so many of them, and it's hard to exclude guys. And I know there's certain, you know, guys that get left out, but I mean, it's not intentional. You know, I mean, there's just so many. You know, like Winnebago could easily bring like 3 to 4 teams. And be competitive, you know, not just go there and, you know, maybe just play, but to actually compete. I mean, that's just a test of the type of caliber of kids that we have here, and their talents. I mean, and that's been going on for a really long time, is that Winnebago, and not just us, but, you know, Macy and, you know, all of the reservations, they all have the talent and the skill. You know, there's just other things that are missing. So, you know, that's kudos to everybody, you know, just natives in general, just being able to play ball.
You know, we talked about that a little bit last night too. Like just here in Northeast Nebraska, like the native ball players, like we have so many good shooters. We have so many good ball handlers, so many good big men. You know, just like in this area, and it's crazy because like last night, just watching just the boys that we had in the gym that night, dude, nobody misses. You know, just nobody misses, and everything is just looking so good right now. You know.
So how many of the boys from your team down at the MIT are going? Because that's all underclassmen, right?
Yeah,
that team was?
That was all 9th and 10th graders. Let's see, I would say maybe 6 of them.
6 of them?
Yeah.
And then, but Amy Lessa's boys ain't playing.
No, they got their own team down.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know who's on their squad, but yeah, but those Painter boys they're gonna do good down there.
Man, those guys really stepped up big too. I mean, those guys from that tournament I seen, then they're both what, freshman and sophomore?
Sophomore, junior, or
They have to be
freshman.
freshman, sophomore.
Freshman, sophomore.
Unless,
I think so, yeah.
unless Barry Kennedy is
Holy
playing
snow.
for you down there. I
I was
see.
gonna bring up
Okay.
holes to.
I don't know if Barry Kennedy listens, but
You know this is.
Barry Kennedy was playing in a 3rd and 4th grade team when he was just junior in high school. quits out of playing. Then he was about the 3rd shortest on the whole court. That day.
Bear Candy's little brother MJ was on my 7th grade squad, and he didn't show up that day. But Bear was there. I was like,
You got
"Where's
shoes?
your brother? No, where's your brother? Why are you here? And your brother's not here. He's the one that has a game." Like he's like, "I don't know where he's at. I know he played, so I just came over." And I was like, "Well, I got his jersey. Want to run?"
you got your shoes? You said.
He's a 9th grader. Very 9th grader, a little 4'11" archer.
He hasn't been older than that. Then he hit a 3 and he's keeping his hand up there, running down the court, kind of like talking. Call time. Well, do you know you're playing against little bitty guys?
You don't play against the little guys and keep your hand up like that. Yeah, Bear Kennedy, love you, dog.
Bear Kennedy, love you, bro.
I know. So, hey, a little bit all west though. When you guys went down in 2015, did anybody from the Bago team get in a dunk contest? Did Dave get in a dunk contest?
I don't
Or
think
Kobe or Matt?
I don't think Dave did. I think more or less, you know, I think they just came off Henrietta, and I think Dave kind of sustained an injury down there during that time. I don't know I forget what type of injury it was, but I know that Dave had to sit out a couple pool play games, and then everyone else kind of had to step up, and then Dave kind of came through and they made a run and ended up winning it. And they went to Denver and they were just at full health. I think they had Aspen and Devon there then.
Yep.
They were able to just, you know, just bring it down. So, you know, that trying to get back to that, I mean, that just that way, that's, you know, that takes a lot, you know, not just from the players, you know, aspect, but from the coaching aspect of it too. And then, you know, the parent support too. I mean, for our group, there's a lot of parents that are going out, that are making their way out. Yeah. There's a lot of fans that, you know, that love to see these boys play. And, you know, me personally, I wish that, you know, all these boys could just be on one team. But, you know, there's so many of them that it's just unfortunate that we just, you know, we can't take a team of 30 guys. Yeah. You know, I mean, it's just so many. So. And
then you might as well bring, you know, 2 or 3 teams too, because we want everybody to get the experience, you know. Like, I even told the boys, like, you know, some of you guys that wanted to go, you know, I'm sorry, but there's only room on the roster for 10 people, and I gotta choose my 10 wisely because I have a lot of returners from last year, you know, and then the other people that I'm going to fill the roster with, they gotta be capable of playing at that level, you know. Yeah. And so anyway, so it's every year it's different, and I'm really glad that you're bringing a team down this year too, so everybody can get that experience because. I took my boys down a couple years ago. First time I went down, we didn't win no games, 0-4. But the experience was great. They said, I can't wait to come back next year. Yeah. And we go back again the year after, last year, a little bit more comfortable. We're not in a hotel no more, we're in Airbnb. Get over to the gym. We actually win some games last year. And in the silver bracket, we got 3rd place. And so, like this year, I can't even tell you guys how excited these guys are to go. Because now they're juniors and sophomores and freshmen, and because we really didn't have any seniors the last couple of years playing that, you know, the quality seniors that we're looking for with that leadership and stuff. So,
is nephew Callan playing on your squad?
He's playing with a team called Concord. Where are they from? Florida?
I think so. Yeah.
Unconquered or something
Unconquered,
like that. Yeah, they're from Florida.
Okay.
So he's been traveling with those guys as soon as basketball season ended. So, you know, shout out to Cal too. So
yeah.
But yeah, so that's where everybody's heading out, man. So if you guys are heading out to Denver, we'll see you guys down there. Make sure you're out there supporting your guys' local basketball teams.
Some of you golfers, golfing fathers or grandparents, if you bring your clubs out, hit me up. There might be a break in action somewhere.
Yeah, there might be. I know that the boys, I don't know if your boys got them, but there's a Nuggets game out there. They play the Jazz. I think you guys going.
Yep.
So both all the Winnebago boys are going to be going out to the game out there, supporting the Nuggets out there.
Nice.
Not defending champs, but the former champs.
Yeah. Yep. And so who's defending champs?
I don't know. So anyway, you guys, let's get into this. We just got done talking about All West. You know, we're going to have a good time out there. NCAA March Madness, the bracket. The bracket. B-Luv, you always do your bracket every year.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about your bracket first. How many people?
My bracket?
You're the bracket pool.
Oh, the pool.
The
okay.
pool. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about your pool. So this year, how many people you got in your pool?
This year I made just enough. I do. We're not gonna talk payouts, but I do the regular little. And then to hit my quota, I had to have 62 brackets.
62 brackets.
And I got exactly 62 brackets.
62 brackets.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
So we do that. And you won't believe one of our leaders. Well, I got two of the top 3 leaders.
Yeah, talk about the leaders.
None of the listeners would know that a couple of my dart buddies. One's from Homer, one's from Sloan. One guy missed 3 total in the second round. So he's got Sweet 16. He's got 13 teams in there still, and then the other guy tied. He's got 12, and then the lone local Cassie Kitchian.
Oh,
Yeah.
Cassie Kitchian.
And then the thing is I think she just fills it out to be filling it out because her husband Wombly does. Wombly won it 1 year, and he was just like, he was hooked. But the thing is, he always put Kansas, and I know Beatles a big Kansas fan too.
Oh, get him,
But no, I can't because
okay.
Beat only had Kansas winning 1 game in his bracket.
Oh, Beatles.
Yeah. But Wombly, on the other hand, I don't really sit there and study everybody's brackets because Chris got about 36 of them, and there's 62 in there. But
That's his iPhone.
so, I know Wombly. He's been struggling these last 3 years, and he's been, like coming up to the end middle.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where he's at again right now.
So, yeah, Cass, go ahead, fill it out. Fill it out. And say, what's their mascot? Oh, the flowers. Oh, let me pick them.
What color? What's their colors?
What's their colors?
Yeah.
Oh,
What's
I
their
like.
colors?
I gotta dress that color.
But yeah, you'll be surprised on certain people that get in. I got some young ones that will get in, like Chris's boys, but they're all basketball players, so I kind of think that they would know, and they're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
But Ty Miller and Pilar Miller's little girl got one in, and she filled hers all out, and I think it was her first time, and I give an award out for it's called the Cellar Dweller, and that one's for the one that with the most wrong picks, and so I think Peyton owns that one already.
Oh, there you go.
So she might get a little prize here when the tournament's all over.
Yeah.
I'll let her mom and dad know.
Yeah, next year.
I'm not gonna say anything now because they're out in Las Vegas, from what I heard.
Oh, yeah, there you go. And next year, for the bracket, I'm gonna put in 2 brackets. I'm gonna put in one that I'm trying to win, and then one just with all the lowest seeds. So then that bottom one will end up paying for the top one. So it'll be a
So
freebie.
it'd be freebie. Oh, well, but then at the same time,
That might be dangerous.
yeah, because some of them under them lower seeds
Oh, yeah,
they
yeah,
win, so
yeah.
that might mess you up.
Yeah.
Pick that team that beat Clemson.
Well, me
Hook knees.
and Vito were talking the other day, and it's like all the Sweet 16 teams. They're all like big dogs. There's no Cinderella stories, or there's no mid majors or like little guys that are coming to the show anymore. Like
Well, no.
a lot of those players are just being poached from
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
those teams and signing those NIL deals.
Yep.
Stuff like that.
Yep.
So
You'll never find a
that's a
powerhouse.
game changer.
Yep, you'll never find a powerhouse team no more because of that. Because ain't nobody gonna want to come in and like sign in and like I'm gonna sign on. Go here get a scholarship as a third backup point guard. They're gonna want to go somewhere they can play right away.
Right.
Most of them are going, Florida where it's warm. That's how I look at it too. Same with football. So it's got its perks, but it's got its cons too for that NIL and that transfer portal.
And then at the end of the day too, I think money talks.
Exactly.
I think money talks louder than anything.
Transfer portal has been increasing over the years ever since it's been a thing. So this past year when it opened, I think it opened a few days ago. It had a number of 700 plus.
1,200 now. They changed it from the first day when it opened. 1,200 people already in a transfer portal. That's nuts. And it all come down to football. Back in football, with I always say this. Nick Saban was the coach for Bama.
Yep.
That's why he retired, because now that NIL come and all that transfer portal, now Bama's just relevant now because everybody else that can bring those 5-star because they can pay them.
Right.
Yeah.
Saban been doing it and Bama been doing it for years, but now they can do it on top of the table instead of under the table. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
That's why.
True.
That's why Texas is one of the top teams now because they got most of the NIL deals out there.
Yeah, and they get to keep their players at home because a lot of the players would go elsewhere. Texas got a lot of good football players, and the Californias, and even like the New Jerseys. Those guys all want to try to stay out to those kind of schools, but now they can go anywhere. So
Yeah, well, I think it goes back to like the NBA, like LeBron. I think Buff says it the best. Like LeBron created all of this, so NIL I think just followed up with all of it. Like like when the going gets tough, guys can just head out. Like, like for me, being a coach, like I hate to see my guys leave. It's kind of heartbreaking. Like you put in all this work, you spend all this time together, and you're happy for your guys. Being able to go provide and take care of mom and take care of grandma and take care of the family and stuff. But at the end of the day, that work that you put in developing these guys, and then just for someone to come in and just take them you go make a run and you're just at home watching on TV or fishing.
Yeah.
That's not where you want to be.
Okay, cool.
Really?
You can look
Yeah.
at it from like both perspectives. Like before the NIL deal, you get like these players that commit 3 or 4 years, and then you get like a coach that just ups and leaves, and then they're with a whole new coach,
System.
and then bringing their recruit.
Yeah.
Because my brother experienced that at Midland. The coach that recruited him, he committed to him, and then that coach left, and then a new coach came in with all his recruits. So then my brother was just stuck in the place.
Yeah, and then to follow up with that too, like not everybody's guaranteed the NBA neither. Too.
Yeah.
So like it's beneficial, and I've always been, not against the NCAA, but like just been like kind of more for the players as far as like them getting paid, and then now to see where it's at, it's just kind of like too much. But at the end of the day, you still want the players to to be able to get their worth, because the NCAA does benefit a lot off of their name, image and likeness.
And then providing for their families. What if they pay them to stay one more year, talk them to stay one more year, and then injury happens? Then you're SOL out of money and stuff like that. And so I mean, like I said, it can hit and miss.
Right.
A lot of these young guys, they come in and they said, all right, like Cooper Flag, he's probably gonna go pro next year. He'll be projected number 1. And then someone I've seen somewhere else on another talk show saying that he's coming back for his sophomore year. Well, what if it happens like Juju Watkins happened?
Right.
He blew her knee out and had all this stuff going, and his stock's gonna go down. Nobody's gonna want to deal with him. Then you're gonna, lose out on millions.
Yep. Yep. That is true. I mean, but at the same time too, like, these big time players, they're getting so much in NIL too. I mean, it's a significant amount. That's pretty much the equivalent to what they would get if they were to be a first round, top 10 pick. I mean, and that's the absurdity of the NCAA, is just like guys can just make ridiculous amounts of money and stay in college. It benefits college, but then as far as them wanting to go pro, it kind of takes away. But it's like, where do you draw the line now? Like, where do we make this fair? Like, how do we, it used to be amateurism was everything, and now amateurism is pretty much dead. Like, it's not about education anymore. It's all business. And me dealing with what Dave had to go through, like, we learned that firsthand, and that was before all of this stuff went down. It's like, all this stuff's been happening way beforehand, and it was just, to me, being new to it, it's just all overwhelming. Like, it's just a totally different world that consists of, and once you get a part of it, it's not amateurism. It's not about you being a student and really trying to get your education. It's pretty much more or less the business aspect of the whole game, and it's good, but it's not good.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you might as well, if you're going to go to school and that's going to happen, you might as well start taking business classes right off the bat,
right.
Well, learn how to take care of your money.
And not only that, but making the right decision when you can. I mean, seizing your opportunities, everything. Like Buff was saying with Cooper Flag, like, if Duke happens to win it this year, what do you got to stay at school for?
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of even sticking around if you win it? If Duke wins it, like, there's no point of even staying. Like, you won one.
You accomplished the top
just go get your
prize.
bag. Yeah. I mean, I think that's what it's
Then
about.
On top of that, if he wins the Naismith Award and then he wins the whole thing, you're done. I would just be done, because even like nowadays with those rookie contracts, and maybe you're not as good as they want. So you might be making more money in the NIL than you would as a rookie contract. So it is. You don't know what's gonna happen, honestly.
Yep.
Yeah. Perfect example, probably Bronny. Same thing when he's in college. Probably made more money on NIL than he did his rookie year because he got the minimum.
One of the prime examples, Caitlin Clark. She's making way more money than she doesn't in WNBA.
Dude, I would have just stayed in college.
Yeah, because she had one more year, that COVID year. She had one more year. She should have done it. And then she really made people mad by scoring about 4,500 points in her career.
Yeah, I was mentioning to Chris about this. Just being a little biased with my team. Hunter Dickinson, he was making roughly above $1 million, and I was telling him he'll probably not even gonna get drafted. Just the way he plays and how he is as his mindset. But yeah, just like at Kansas, they offer him tons of NIL money, and then if he goes to NBA, like last year, he probably wouldn't even make all that money.
Yeah. And then just to kind of follow that too, like, just from the coaching aspect of it, like when I coach my young kids and trying to just prepare them, is that, you know, you want them to have their aspirations and their dreams as far as going D1 and, you know, going to the NBA, but in reality, their odds of achieving that, I mean, they're insurmountable. I mean, the likelihood of them achieving those things is probably more or less not going to happen. So, you know, me being, you know, the kind of coach that I am, you know, emphasizing education, emphasizing, you know, prioritizing that you have to have that backing. You know, education has to be your backbone. Like, you want to be able to count on that. Like, if your skill and your talent as far as the game of basketball are going to, you know, propel you to, you know, the next level, you have to make sure that you're in it, you know, for your education too as well. Like, those two got to go hand in hand. So no matter how good you are, I think you always have to, you know, associate the two with each other as far as your basketball playing and then your academic side.
Exactly, because basketball, it ain't gonna last forever.
Right.
Prime example, you know, you can go until you can't do it no more, or until you can't move, like some of us.
Yeah. you got teachers pushing you to be your best, and you got your coaches pushing you to be your best. I mean, you have it all right there, you know.
Right.
But I like how you put that together, Chris, on your comments right there. One thing I was gonna say about the NCAA tournament, I know you guys probably saw that stat too, that there's only 4 conferences represented right now.
Yeah.
Big 12, Big 10,
And then
SEC, and the ACC.
7 of the Sweet 16 teams are SEC.
7 of them are SEC, and yeah, 2 are. Or one's ACC is Duke,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and there's 2 in the SEC, or Big 10,
There's,
Big
I
12.
think, yeah, there's 2 in the Big 12. I
Purdue
think.
and Maryland, or the Big 12. Big 10 is Purdue and Maryland. And
Yeah, those are the 2. It's the Big 10.
Yeah,
It's only Purdue and Maryland left.
So that right there, I mean, if you're talking about the transfer portal or something like that, trying to go to, you know, quality teams, you know, if you're trying to be on a winning team or you're just trying to get some playing time, you know, because some guys be like, oh, well, I'm not gonna try to go over to transfer to Duke because they got all the starters over here. I want to go over here some playing time. I want to go over here to whatever, you know. And so when they do the transfer portal, but then if you want to win, you want to go to the championship, then those are some good schools or some good conferences to kind of transfer to whatever team you're going to, you know.
Yeah, well, and then another thing that I want to kind of follow up on too is like, I think we're all familiar with Trace and Eaglestaff.
Yeah.
You know, being at North Dakota.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, going there, you know, because his family ties and stuff like that. But, you know, the success that he's had there, you know, he kind of blew up. And now almost every school in America wants him.
Yeah.
And I try to preach to my kids too that, you know, it's okay to maybe, you know, if you got a JUCO offer to kind of work your way up, and if you got a, you know, small mid-major to be able to work your way up, and, you know, those things could lead to bigger opportunities, you know, in today's game. And he's a prime example too of, you know, going to, you know, a smaller school, and, you know, now I can't imagine his NIL packages. I can't imagine, you know, all the money that, you know, schools are sending him just to have him part of their team. You know, it's kind of amazing, you know, and the fact that he's Native American, being able to, you know, have that type of representation. I mean, I'm proud of him for that.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know him personally, but
Yeah.
you know, that's great stuff.
Yeah, I played against his dad, and his dad played on the team back when I played in my younger days. His name was Lance. He was pretty good too.
And then I just want to follow up on what Chris was saying, starting off small at a small school. And another prime example is the Auburn big, Janiah Broom.
Oh,
He
yeah.
started off at, what was it, Morris. And he played there for about 2 years. And then Auburn came in, snagged him. And then now look at him, he's a potential player of the year candidate.
Yeah.
You know, I seen he's a senior right now. Is he playing in his COVID year? His last year?
Yeah, he's like 25 years
He's
old.
Yeah, I see a lot of people are talking about that and
Him and-
talking about.
Him and Braun ready to retire.
If you want to bring up someone old, you should talk about Creighton's guard, Stephen Ashworth. He's
How old is he?
24 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. You know, they're talking about players that, you know, I'd seen a Facebook post and people hitting on it, not locals, but just people that hit on these posts. They're all saying, well, I don't even know why these guys are in the same category, and talking about the guy you guys said, and then Cooper Flagg, and they're like, well, Cooper Flagg's supposed to be in his high school prom right now, and he's already getting, you know, this guy's been in the pros or in the college Division I for 5 years, you know, and they're like, there should be no comparison, but there is, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's just some crazy stuff you read.
But also, it just depends on everyone takes their path.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, going back to just what I said before too, is like, you know, me actually being able to see and be a part of it all through, you know, David's, you know, journey is like you're happy for the players because they get paid, but then you see everything that's going on and you're like, you know, like, like this is the product that we're getting. Like kids can just leave when they want. There's no loyalty to staying. There's, you know, we're accepting money. Like it's just too much. I think it just gets overwhelming, and you know, we're making it more or less about money over everything else. The most important thing, which is education. So
It's LeBron for you.
yeah, yep. And then it just goes back to that too. That's why I kind of mentioned that at the beginning. LeBron,
Yeah.
it's all LeBron's
Yeah,
fault.
he's taking stuff a long time ago when he was in high school, driving Hummers around when he was a junior in high school. There he was. Broke mom couldn't get that for him. Hell out of here.
All right, real quick, like Beto, who you got winning the championship?
My bracket, I got Florida.
Yep.
On your bracket, you got Florida.
Yep.
But who's really gonna win it? Florida,
I'm sticking with Florida.
Chris.
In my bracket, I had Duke or Auburn.
Duke or Auburn?
I mean, I think I had Auburn. I'm pretty sure, but
What about
I mean,
the other 12?
I let my my kids do theirs, but I kind of had an influence on theirs.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think Auburn.
Auburn.
But I think just watching the tournament, I think Duke. I mean,
Yeah.
I think they're just.
I put 2 brackets in, one for me, one for Jess, and I have Jess with Auburn and Duke, with Auburn winning. Same team. The other one, man, I clowned that one.
Yeah, you did. And your name's on that one. I got Auburn and Duke in the finals on mine too, and I got Duke winning it. But you know, when I seen Florida play, who'd they play the other day? They only won by 2
UConn.
points or something.
UConn.
UConn, yeah. And they kind of thrown UConn three-peat chances. You know, I was kind of pulling
Yeah.
for UConn. I think I had them going to the Final Four. Or
I had,
eight
I,
or
had, I
something.
had them playing Houston in the finals, but
But yeah, but I got Duke. I mean, just watching Duke's first 2 games, they just dominated both teams.
Yeah.
So you're like, you know,
Yeah.
until they get tested, you know, then ain't nobody can touch those guys.
Yeah, and then teams like Arkansas, and then teams like Florida too. A lot of their main guys, they all come from small schools. So like Walter Clayton, John
Yeah.
L. Davis. Like the list just goes on of guys
Good.
who started out at small schools. Now they're at big schools.
I saw a couple boys that wasn't transferred last year from a team that either didn't make it or barely made it, and they transferred to a different team, and then they ended up playing those guys,
Yeah.
and they ended up winning. So the underdog guy who transferred got his playing time,
Yeah.
got to be a starter, and came back and beat the team that didn't let him play.
And had you told you so moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Well,
see,
Cinderella definitely lost her slipper, and she's not able to find it anymore now. So.
That was who was the Cinderella up until then. The big guy from Maryland hit that last second shot against
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Derek Queen.
yeah, against Colorado State or something like that.
Yep.
So Stacy and Steve Evans, they're boys at point guard for Colorado State.
really?
Yeah, that's Steve Evans' boy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if
okay.
you check it out, then yeah, check him out. He hit the first game against I think whoever, I can't remember who they played. He had career high 6 threes, 25 points.
Ooh,
Who was it? Arkansas?
His name's Casey Evans,
Colorado State.
Colorado State.
Oh,
yeah.
Colorado State. Yep.
Whoever Maryland beat at the buzzer, I think it's Colorado State. is
Yep.
what it was.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, that was him. Yeah, so we got another nephew out there.
There you go. That's a good one, guys. That's a good one. All right, hey, we got about 10 minutes, or about 7-8 minutes left, and we wanted to get into a little bit, just a little bit, touch on Winnebago golf and Winnebago track, and they just want to touch on. I know that I saw the golf crew together, both my son, Chris's son, and the crew. Some of the basketball players, they're all going out for golf this year. Not all of them, but there's a lot of them going out for golf.
Is Coach Black, Kenny Black, is he back?
Yeah,
in
Coach-
Winnebago?
Coach
so
Kenny-
there you go.
Coach
So they
Kenny.
got a good coach. So if
Yeah.
they
Yep.
stick and follow his lead, they'll turn out pretty good.
And you know what? That's what they were looking for last year, is enough boys to make a full squad, and they can make a run for state this year.
It's good.
Yeah, and that's why I had my boy do it too, because you know, like me and Kenny Boy, like we grew up together, but I know what Kenny Boy's about. I know his character, and you know the type of golf player he is. I don't think there's anybody better than him right now. I mean, I can barely even hit the ball off the tee. And,
Yeah.
you know, that to me, that's a challenge.
Dude,
But
dude,
you know, the way
what's that
Kenny
kid
Boy,
here?
the way Kenny Boy plays,
Yeah,
boy.
it's crazy. He could be a pro.
Yeah, he's borderline.
When he shows up to golf tournaments, we're like, nah.
Right.
But when he shows up to coach these boys, we're like, yeah.
Yeah.
Every time Kenny shows up to a golf tournament everywhere, everybody's playing for second place. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Might as well wipe that 1,000 out of here. All right, then hey, you guys. So the golf team has their first golf meet the day after we get back from Denver because everybody come back Sunday night.
Yeah.
They have their first meet on Monday.
Okay.
So so they ain't gonna have too much of a rest.
Oh, yeah.
They'll get out there and I think they golf in Beamer.
Oh, that's a good one too.
It's Indian Hills, I think it's called, or
Yep.
Indian something. And they got that steep hill,
Yep.
that cross country hill.
Until this, their spring things at Beamer, 25 for 18 in cart.
Oh snap! All right, guys. So anyway, but track started also.
Yep.
I see about 30 kids out for track. 30 kids, unless that's junior high too. But there's a lot of kids out for track, and we hardly ever have that either.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that that the student athletes at Winnebago are, getting themselves out of their norm and
Expanding
going
their
out.
horizon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
I always try to bring that on the kids because I work with the high school a lot, and I always mention to them like, don't just go out for your main sport. Also go out for all these other sports because you might grow an interest in that.
Yep.
And like a prime example is Downey Barrage. His main sport was basketball, and then he went out for track, tried it out, and then or is it cross country his main one?
Yeah.
Cross country.
Yeah.
And then now look at him, he's thriving at Haskell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think his big thing is to get recruited to D1 to go run.
Yeah.
And then the reason why he's running is to stay in shape for basketball. That's why he went out to cross country.
But
But
yeah, you know, find out he was better in running than so go with
And
it.
then it even takes it because he's a men's fancy dancer and travels in powwows too, so that keeps him going on all that.
Shout out to Dami. He placed down at Denver March last
Oh,
weekend.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shout
Shout
out.
out to Dami.
We
yeah.
talk about him a lot on this thing because he's one of the athletes that was good. Him and David get a lot of talk. Little Marufo boy, he gets a lot of he gets a lot of praise and but Diamond Bear, he does it all. He's a gym rat. He grew
Yep.
up in a gym and he's raised in a gym and now he's not there. He's out there running for his life out there.
And shout out to his dad. I mean Jeff. I mean for having things be that way, and for keeping him drug and alcohol free, and that's a hard thing to do. I mean I think at the end of the day, here on the reservation, there's it's easy for kids to lose their way, but
Temptation
having
everywhere.
those parents there to be able to guide and to be able to raise their kids and to be able to show their kids, I mean that's absolutely crucial and important.
Yeah.
So shout out to Jeff for being that way and
Yep.
being there for Dayami and all of Dayami's success.
And I gotta add that fancy dancing, the power dancing itself, but fancy dancing, that has to be a sport, man. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
as much energies you're doing out there, that.
Well,
that's
remember
gotta
we had
put
the twins
there.
up here and they were playing basketball and then they were dancing and we asked them what was harder. Here they both said dancing,
Yeah.
fancy dance. 'cause
Yeah.
They said it's hot and you got all this stuff on.
And you got to do back-to-back songs.
Yeah. Well, you better get rid of them tickets, bro. Is that what we're trying to do next
Oh
time?
yeah, we're getting rid of tickets. Did anybody even share or tag us, Beth? If
Other
not,
than
we're
that,
gonna
Hold
try.
on. Let
we're
me
gonna
see.
try-
What do I gotta do?
Hold on, we're going to try to chance at winning
So-
that.
So we have two sets of two family sets of tickets for. Oh yeah, Vito, I'm gonna let you talk about this right here because
Oh,
this is
yeah.
your thing right here.
Yeah.
You know more about it.
Yeah, so as Quince was saying, we got 2 sets of 5, right?
Yep.
Vouchers here for the Winnebago Community Night, sponsored by Ho Chunk Inc. So with these vouchers, you take them to the box office, and then you exchange them for actual tickets, and then you can choose anywhere in the arena that you want to sit.
So there are vouchers for tickets.
Yep.
For free tickets.
Yep. And then if you don't have a voucher, or if you didn't get a hold of me in time, you get a 50% discount. But I was an intern for the Sioux City Bandits, and I just brought this idea up to the president of the Bandits, saying, how come you haven't reached out to Ho Chunk Inc. on a possible sponsorship? And he's like, I haven't had any good luck of following through with them. And then that's when I said, well, let me try to work something up with some of the locals that work there. And then reached out to my brother, and then he reached out to your guys' brother, Willie. And then they brought it to the charitable giving group, and then they accepted it, went to Lance's desk, and he said approved, and now it's 3 years in the making.
Nice.
And the whole thing behind it is just, I like to just bring the community together, family, like seeing everyone's faces bright up, because not too many people know about the arena football or Sioux City Bandits. And just a fun fact, the Sioux City Bandits is one of the oldest teams around in America.
Yeah. And then I seen they had the group up there too that out there performing too. That everybody put their regalia on and went and danced out there for the Bandits at halftime. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like a cultural exchange for us. So it's just us being able to show our culture in the Siouxland area. So
That's cool.
yeah, we always try to fill it up with the youth, and even adults can get out there too if they really wanted to. And we had the Sioux City Bandits come to the Winnebago Public School, talk about their journeys, and then now we can have a fun night this coming Saturday.
Heck yeah, there you go.
That's dope, B-Luv.
Well, we're gonna try to give away a set of tickets. We have one share on here. I wonder if we can find out who shared this. Oh,
Chris.
wait, can you pull it up? See
I
who
didn't
shared
even
that?
share it either. I told my boys I'll be there in like 10 minutes.
Okay, so we have one share on there. We asked somebody to share it and tag somebody, so we're gonna give it that set of tickets away to them. But we have one question, and the first person to answer this on our Facebook page
Without Googling it.
and in our comments section, the first person to answer this question is gonna receive this other set of 5 tickets. And the question is, in this past week, who was the famous boxing icon that we lost, that passed away? So the first person to answer that question on Facebook, comment your answer, you win this set of tickets.
Good question.
The question is, who is the famous boxing icon that we lost, that passed away this past week? So first one in the comments section, you're gonna win these tickets. But in the meantime, B-Luv, you know, I want to say thank you to for Coach Chris and Caden for coming up here and spending some time up here at the radio station, talk about sports. You know, we try to keep it a good we try to keep it fun. We try to keep it chill, but educational. You know, I'm glad Coach Chris comes up here and gives it a different perspective from the coach's point of view. You know, and then with Caden working in the community all the time, and then seeing, I know you saw all these kids come up from when they were little bitty guys until now that they're older athletes and stuff. So I know that you pay attention to the community. You work with the youth all the time. So I want to say thank you guys for coming up here and sharing your time with us. And I know that there's a fundraiser going on right now for the high school Warpath basketball team, and it's up on the screen right now. We're raffling away 2 native blankets, a baby board, ribbon dress, and then there's 2 sets of earrings. And we were supposed to draw today, but we had so much of interest that they wanted to extend it out till tomorrow, because tomorrow's payday. So you guys have another day. We're gonna draw at 6 o'clock tomorrow night, and we're gonna draw live from our Airbnb down in Denver. So that cash tag is $! DJ Coach Q. So if you guys can check that raffle out, we're going to be selling tickets all up until about 5:30 tomorrow. So you guys hit that up.
Cool. You get a
DJ Bestman, did we get somebody? Okay.
Who is it?
Kuda Bass? Who did he say?
Foreman.
George Foreman is the answer.
Yeah.
Chris had it down, but he's going to be in Denver. So, but hey, so Kuda Bass, we got a set of tickets up here for you.
Rigged.
We got a set of tickets up for you. And then we had one share on there too, and we'll get that to somebody, whoever shared it. So,
It was Madison.
Matt.
Hey.
Hey, somebody's staying home. Well, we got a set of tickets for Madison too. So,
Kenny boy, you're holding down the coaching down there. Christian, staying home. He has to now.
all right, guys. Hey, I want to say thank you guys for coming up again. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for all the 1s and 2s, DJ Best Me and B-Luv. Thanks for all your efforts in doing this show with me. I wouldn't want to do this show with anybody else. And you keep it real, and you always crack us up. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll say bye.
Yep. Peace.
Have a good one.
All right.
Peace, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to 100.9 FM. This is KWTN. You are listening to The Show.